Okay. Thanks so much for inviting me for this talk. I have worked on avatar projects for diverse populations, such as older adults and cancer patients. Today, I'm going to start talking about transcultural aspect of avatar project, what I call performing virtual bodies. Then, if we have time, I want to introduce a little more details about voicing Han Avatar project for palliative care. I grew up in South Korea, watching Western movie dubbed in Korean. The actors in movie were all American, but speaking perfect Korean. The strange combination of Western body with Korean voice created hybrid body and reality that perfectly made sense to me in my childhood. Voice acting was so fascinating. It transferred one to another being, playing out alternative body and life story like puppetry. Later, this idea has evolved to my virtual puppetry. Korean society is based on Neo-Confucianism, which emphasizes the corporeality of the female body. The very aspect that men are supposed to transcend as virtuality of the body. Women are trapped by physicality of the body as reproductive machines. I was searching for virtual bodies to explore new self-perception and meaning construction beyond moral action and integrity, stress and social body with Confucian ideology. My gaze, speech, body and mental engagement allow me to access and perform my virtual bodies. Performativity has been largely discussed in the context of self-perception and identity through physical body. However, in the digital age, we need this discussion of body and performativity to be extended to the relationship between physical and virtual bodies. Digital representation of body enable people to explore other selves and other relationship with one's own body and critically transcend social constraints. And this understanding can be mirrored by Korean healing ritual. During the Joseon Dynasty in Korea, shamanism functioned as a breakthrough from repressive Confucian philosophy concerning women and the oppressed. The Korean emotional state called Han was developed by oppressed over a long period of time and became a source for activating Korean healing ritual good. Han is known as the most important element of Korean mind and emotion. It is a paradoxical state of consciousness, combining extreme state of grief, but with great hope for overcoming situations seeming impossible. Could function as a safe channel for the oppressed to become and perform virtual bodies, transcending their physical states. Their Han functioned as a springboard to jump up toward the alternative state of virtual body. Virtual bodies cannot be activated without strong wish to overcome physical social limits. Through Han, we experience virtual body that respond to our desperate longing for healing. The first development of the avatar-like Living project was the voicing elder project designed for older adults at Gayton Terrace Senior Living in Richmond, Virginia. Voicing elder avatar were designed with real-time lip synchronization and mirroring body movements. One of the powerful performances came from Mrs. C, who showed repressed memory about her father, which is related with Han. Before storytelling, Mrs. C carefully checked to make sure her physical body was connected with the avatar body, with lip sync and body detection really carefully, because it really matters for her to be able to become virtual. During her storytelling, she performed virtual body with animated tone of voice and gestures. At the end of her story, she said, I want to say, erase it from my mind, erase it. I have been through worse things. I have deep feelings and love for Christ, and help up my prayers, and help me forgive my father. At the end of her story, she burst into tears. Her repressed childhood memory became a source of her Han. From Han, she was able to powerfully connect to her virtual body and eventually use it to express her feelings for emotional release. After her session, she said, she is the person who rarely cries. She tried to talk about this story with the therapist, but it was hard because she was talking to person directly. She said anonymity of the avatar made her express her feeling fully. In psychological terms, this can be called a distancing effect. Another Korean emotional concept called Jung explains the relationship between physical and virtual body. Shilha-U talks about three structures of yin and yang called samtaegeut as the foundation of Korean philosophy. He described the dance of samtaegeut as a repetitive circulation of three energy: sky, earth, and human, in swirls. There's a Korean nostalgia for wholeness demonstrated in dance. In Korea, the word hana means one, but including different dimensions, such as single one or whole one. Jung is a strong nostalgia towards infinite oneness, moving from single to whole one. In human relationship, Jung brings a state of great intimacy, allowing people to share everything, transcending any privacy boundaries. Under the feeling of hana, friends usually share all the secrets as if they're a single person. They share the stew from the same pot and drink from a same cup because they're considered as one person. Jung exists between physical and virtual bodies for me.
creating a strong desire to join them together. In a swirling dance, it facilitates hybrid reality, integrating difference to THANA, the converging to infinite oneness. Jung can be explained in several aspects in Avatar Life Review sessions. First of all, it was shown that Mrs. C's mimicking behavior in voicing elder when body detection error has happened. When Avatar couldn't follow her behavior because of technological errors, her physical body kept mimicking the Avatar body to connect itself instead. Technically, the Avatar was designed to follow the user's body movement, but her physical body mimicked the Avatar motion when the body detection was failed. Jung can be found in Avatar selection process as well, which provided more than 60 options for virtual body that include 4 developmental stages, 4 ethnicity, genders, and fashion. In Voicing Han session at Massey Cancer Center, Mrs. T was excited to navigate all of these options and ended up choosing a young adult black woman avatar wearing a blue dress. From the beginning, she was very empathetic to each avatar on screen. She related each avatar with her family members or relatives. In the Korean perspective, Mrs. T was a person full of Jung, with a warm and caring personality. And looking at avatar screen, Mrs. T said, "Oh, look, oh, homeboy, there's a bro. Oh, there he goes. Hey, girl, look at Gia, my niece. Oh, very cute, look at him. And I like her, she's jazzy." And with her purple on, starting from Jung, Mrs. T was able to powerfully immerse herself into her avatar storytelling, which results in altering her chronic pain perception. Her left arm was in severe pain with cancer, but she used it so much during the storytelling, forgetting about the pain. During the most of Voicing Han session at Massey Cancer Center, an emotional connection like Jung was built between the participant and the avatar quickly. Most of the participants started having a personal relationship with their virtual body for more than 30 minutes of their personal storytelling and wanted to express emotional connection when the session was finished by hugging, waving, kissing, as if the avatar was alive. Mrs. E was so disappointed when the avatar on screen was disappeared all of a sudden after her session. And she really wanted to say goodbye and wave to her avatar. By sharing personal stories together, avatar virtual body was ritualized and became something very special at the end of life review sessions. After virtual bodies are accessed by various means, we can perform our virtual body with great emotional involvement. The Korean healing ritual Good provides diverse approach to performing virtual bodies based on 2 ways of understanding Good. One, as a sacred ritual, the other as a dramatic art. Korean shaman has two types, the northern type and southern type. The northern type is characterized by ecstasy and trance and have ability to communicate with spirits or gods directly. However, southern type, by contrast, do not have this ability, but have been educated and practiced a lot to perform the ritual. They practice acting, singing, and dancing, and perform complicated ritual procedure. They perform virtual body by imagining the presence of God or spirit to activate transformative state during the ritual. During the Voicing Elder live review, there was an interesting case showing both aspects in gradual change in performer's consciousness. A participant gradually transitioned from the past to present tense in his storytelling, from the past to current event, and eventually from dramatic enactment to living reality. Mr. W started using a child avatar and talked about challenge he faced in writing course during his elementary school years. These are memories from more than 80 years ago. He started story in past tense and tracing back his memory. However, in the middle of his storytelling, his story started changing to dialogue between himself and his teacher, using present tense. After a while of telling his story in the present tense, Mr. W looked for his elementary teacher. The mediator changed his child avatar to a young adult woman on the screen. Then he started to make a conversation with this avatar as elementary teacher, school teacher, as if she's alive in reality. We paused Mr. W's story as we judged he was too immersed into the avatar. But all of a sudden, he moved to the avatar screen by the walker and desperately tried to touch the avatar on screen. Gradual transition has happened in his consciousness from the state of remembering the past to acting out the events to a very vivid reality happening here and now with transformative consciousness, just like happening in Korean ritual. So far, I have explained the phase of wishing, facing, and performing virtual bodies based on Korean healing ritual. In digital media, we don't usually discuss the experience of how we perform virtual bodies. What is embodiment? What is immersion? The terms like embodiment, engagement, immersion have replaced discussion of real experience and having critique as ambiguous terms in digital media. We need to examine the embodied experience further as individualized experience. They can access a variety of techniques, modalities, and methods crossing between old and new, analog and digital for performing virtual bodies. It is critical to bring cultural diversity and transcultural perspective to digital media and HCI discussions that have been dominated by Western thoughts. Transcultural dialogue of body, emotion, and perception can bring deep understanding and reconceptualization of virtual body, an alternative reality that can help us with well-being, transcendence, cathartic release, and emotional healing. With advancement of technology, the potential for multisensorial modality that integrate virtual and physical bodies are endless. In-depth discussion of identity, self-actualization, and meaning construction need to incorporate diverse modality of understanding the self and healing. This will contribute to therapeutic outcome, technical innovation, and phenomenal experience in VR, AR, MR environments. So from this point, I want to explain a little bit more detail about Boysingham project if we still have time. I have been working with my students who have been great assets for this project production and research, working as a programmer, tech assistant, 3D artist, and so on. Boysingham was an avatar-mediated life review project designed for cancer patients in a palliative care setting. The Boysingham study enrolled 12 patients receiving outpatient palliative care at VCU Massey Cancer Center from June to August 2019. Each participant had a session lasting about 30 to 40 minutes of spontaneously engaged avatar life review, starting from childhood and ending at elderhood. The storytelling performance were recorded by avatar video format and distributed to participants for their review, sharing, and legacy document. Basically, Boysingham avatar had a mirrored by movement and lip synchronization of live speech. Boysingham used a wireless motion capture sensor directly attached to skin for precise motion detection and minimal latency. Patients are given the option of full body or partial body setup options. Full body setup consists of chest strap, groin strap, right and left hand, right and left arm, and right left foot. Partial body setup was upper body only, or sometimes arms only. It is still powerful for the serious ill patients in wheelchair or bed. They can still play with avatar using a part of their body, like single arm. Boysingham includes 5 environments. They can be chosen by patients: beach, mountain, European attraction, living room, and empty space. And 64 customized avatar options, including 4 men, 4 woman avatar, and 4 developmental stage: child, teenager, adult, and elder, 4 ethnicity choice with different skin colors. Little bit talking about background of palliative care. Palliative care underscored the need to support patients in coping with many facets of life-limiting illness and intends to improve quality of life by relieving physical and emotional pain with spiritual care. Palliative care treats death as a part of life process and provides support through difficult process of transition. Life review have been often used in palliative care to help the patients integrate memories into a meaningful whole, providing a balanced view of past, present, and future. The Korean concept of Han that I explained earlier can be understood in the context of palliative care. As previously stated, Han is a paradoxical state of consciousness that combines extreme state of grief, but with great hope for overcoming impossible situation. Han drives the process of mourning related to tragic experience in Korean healing ritual. Good. Han is connected with paradoxical attitude of being hopeful even in the most frustrated situations. Han can be found in holistic cognition found among patients in the palliative care program who confront the critical issue of mortality in every day. Voicing Han project facilitated the ritual in the mode of greeting, mourning, accepting, sharing, and honoring our Han through the storytelling. Carla Soffer coined the term THANA technology to describe intersection between death and technology. It's important to think about how the disease will be memorialized and remembered in the digital age. This may impact patients with life-limiting illness and their families, which will reform our relationship with death, memory, and mortality. Engage with life story for the future was very interesting in Voicing Han life review. The participant end their story as the elder, the future self, which is a different aspect of life review, never happened in traditional process. The one's elder self's story is interesting as it involves mostly fiction and imagination about their own future. For example, in a story told as the elder self, Mrs. R was in the midst of her trip to Europe, all by herself at age 70. Mr. E spoke about celebrating his 80th birthday party in his daughter's house, which indicate a great hope in his current cancer treatments. Connect to a virtual body of the elder man avatar with gray hair. This participant was able to freely imagine a meaningful future in his life story. However, one participant was unable to continue the story with tears, acknowledging she might not be able to make to the old age. In clinical feasibility study of Voicing Han project, in collaboration with VCU Medicine, Palliative Care, Dr. Egido Di Favro, Dr. Danielle Nureika, post-survey found all patients agreed or strongly agreed they would participate again, recommend it to others, and find experience beneficial. Based on quantitative data we gathered, the team found that avatar facilitated life review was feasible with a high rate of adherence, completion, and acceptability by patients. Voicing Han avatar story were analyzed qualitatively as well. Working with Dr. Sarah Price, Associate Dean, School of VCU Social Work, based on framework developmental psychology and social constructivism, it turned out Voicing Han is time and cost effective for therapeutic engagement and meaning construction process. Okay, I'm trying to show.
I much prefer this. And then the lifeguard yelled me.
Because of the confidentiality issue of cancer patient story, I cannot share their avatar story video, but I can show a short clip of my step member playing with voicing an avatar to give you a better sense about their life story. So let me play very short clip.
I much prefer this. And then the lifeguard yelled at me, he was like, what are you doing? Get back to practice. And that's when I realized, hey mom, I don't like swim team. Can I quit?
Hi. Hi. What's your name?
My name is Stephanie.
How old are you?
One guy that likes me, but I just tell him we can only do homework together, and that's
I'm a first-generation college student, so my family.
So this is it. Thanks so much for coming and listening my talk, and I also want to express my deep appreciation for Dr. Jeffrey Jacobson and Alex Bernstein for your warm invitation and special opportunity. Thank you.